بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا عليه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى جل جلاله وعلى نواله والصلاة والسلام على سيد الحبيب المصطفى صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد: وأذن في الناس بالحج يأتوك رجالا وعلى كل ضامر يأتين من كل فج عميق. وقال تعالى: ولله على الناس حج البيت من استطاع إليه سبيلا. My dear respected brothers, our elders, our sisters at home, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Just to get an idea, how many of you have done their Hajj? If you can put your hands up. Okay, that's only about 30-35% of the crowd. We need to do our Hajj, and I'll tell you why today. I mean, of course everybody knows, and I'm sure everybody would just love to go there. It's like this desire, it's amazing. What I want to mention is the point of going there sooner than later. I want to take this from a practical perspective. The reason is that Hajj is only getting more difficult every year. I know new hotels are coming up. I know that the Haram is expanding, but believe me, it is much more difficult, and I think it's going to be even more difficult in 10 years' time, because the distances are going to be greater and you're going to be older. I'm talking to you guys, I'm talking to us. Even today, compared to 2001, the distances have increased. They'll tell you, all these agents will tell you that your hotel is right outside. Is it 50 meters? How many meters is it? 50, 100 meters? Oh, it's this hotel. It's right in front of this door. Of course it is. But in Umrah just a few months ago, I timed it with nobody there. No busyness, no crowds. From the Swiss hotel, which is inside the big tall towers, it took fast walking for somebody like me that takes long strides, at least 9 to 12 minutes. That's with no crowd. And his hotel is next door, meaning close enough, right? With the crowds, 3 times as long. The crowds, you just can't get through them. And don't think that you can save up for a 5-star package and it'll make things easier. Your 5-star is only your hotel, restricted to your room. That's where your 5-star is. As soon as you come out of your hotel, you are like everybody else. Like the 1-star, 2-star, no star, multi-star, 5-star, you're the same. There is no special passage to the Kaaba for 5-star hotels. It's just in your room, and when you get down to the lobby and out, you're out. That's it. So, unless you want to be carried, yes, there are services. There are people who will carry you for a payment, of course. There are people that will take you through Safa, Marwa. There will be people that will do tawaf and help you in a wheelchair. If that's the Hajj you want, well, be my guest. But believe me, the time that you want to enjoy it is now. Go as soon as possible. Go as soon as possible. So today I want to clarify a number of reasons why people don't go. Let us look at a few narrations first. It's a pillar of Islam. Now, it's not an additional obligation or a wajib, like a supplementary one. It goes to the core of our faith. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Buni al-Islamu ala khams." Islam is structured on 5 pillars. Now, if I say this masjid has pillars, and the reason why we have these unseeming pillars in between here is because the building is supported by them. Otherwise, I'm sure the committee here would take these out to, so that there's nobody hiding behind pillars that can't see the imam. Because it's not nice in a big hall to have pillars. It's seen as a aib, right? It's seen as a defect in a sense. But you need the pillars. There are 5 pillars. What happens if a pillar was missing? What is going to happen on that side? If one pillar is weak, if pillar is missing, It's not there yet. That means the building is not going to be fully up. There's a massive defect and a hole in one side of the actual building. I don't want you to question your faith here. I don't want you to question your faith here. But if we have the money, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. Allah says in the Quran that for the people, it is for Allah, an obligation to Allah upon the people. It's an obligation upon the people to Allah, Hajj of the Bayt, the house of Allah. Those who have the ability to go, which means around today, nowadays, in all practical terms, if you have between 4,000 to 5,000 pounds, that you have 4,000 to 5,000 pounds, Hajj is necessary. Right? It is necessary. Now, if we're not doing it, it means that it's an obligation upon us, and we're not doing it, so our structure is unsound. Then we wonder why we have no barakah and blessing in our lives. We wonder why there's misery, despondency, depression, grief, anxiety, hatred, darkness in our family lives, where we just don't feel comfortable. Because the human being is a spiritual being. And as Muslims, we believe this, and I'm speaking to Muslims here because you would not have taken off this hour of work or whatever else you do to come and sit here at this time unless you have belief in your heart. So everybody sitting here has given proof of his belief. As the Prophet ﷺ said, anybody you see in the masjid, then bear witness that he's a believer. It's not easy for, in this time of busyness in the world we live in, especially in this great but busy city of London that we are in, to take time off from 1 hour and come and sit in the masjid. That's not easy. That means that we're showing something for our faith, and may Allah accept that from us. So I am speaking to believers, and I am trying to evoke your spirituality, your connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because everybody has it. We sometimes just subdue it for a while. We must let it out. We must allow our spirituality to manifest itself. Then you will see that your life will be filled with happiness, despite having less. You will stop looking at people who have more than you and feel depressed. There's always going to be somebody with more than you, in whatever field you are. I'm in the field of knowledge. I can only be inspired. I must only allow myself to be inspired by somebody who has more knowledge. That okay, I must do that much. Not that I must be jealous of them. That's my challenge. If I'm in the field of investment, trading, business and money, then I mustn't feel bad that somebody else has more. Maybe I can learn from them. But I mustn't feel that I got nothing. I must look at people who have less than me and say, I've got a lot, and then give thanks to Allah. Otherwise we can never manage our perspective and narrative, our health, spiritual health, even physical health. Everything is then harmed if we don't manage the way we look at things and perspective. So that's what the Prophet ﷺ said. Ibrahim a.s., when he was told to reconstruct the house of Allah, Adam a.s. was the first one, or in fact angels were the first to have made a house there for Allah centuries ago. Then it become dilapidated. They say Adam a.s. also made it, and there were just some foundations. That's why Allah says in the Quran, وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمُ الْقَوَاعِدَ مِنَ الْبَيْتِ وَإِسْمَعِيلُ. When Ibrahim and Ismail a.s., when they raised from the foundations, indicating that there were already foundations, but it was just desolate area at the time. And then the story continues, and Ibrahim a.s. built this house, and there was nobody in that area. There was no Twitter in those days that you can say, hey, look at this, take a picture, say, look, this house is now open for Hajj, come along, or Facebook, or WhatsApp messages. There was nothing of that nature. Ibrahim was saying, how are people going to even walk past in this area and come by? So Allah says to him, وَأَذِّن فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ. You just make an announcement. وَأَذِّن فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ. You will see then يَأْتُوكَ رِجَالًا. People will come either on their feet or mounted. Ibn Kathir rahimahullah in his tafsir, he mentions here
that Allah told him to go to one of the mountains, either the Jabal Abu Qubais, which is just behind, or to Safa or to Marwa or one of the areas, and to just make an open announcement in thin air. And he told Ibrahim a.s., your job is just to make the announcement. It's my job to have these words reach everywhere. In those days, you could never imagine, even until maybe 100 years ago, you could never imagine how a word could have traveled so fast. Now it's easy for us to understand this stuff. In an instant, it's out there. I remember when I signed up for Twitter, within a few minutes, I had, I don't know, a few hundred followers. How did they even find out I'm on there? Like, I just signed up for Twitter, and within a few moments, like an hour or so, about a few hundred people had followed me already. Like, how did they even know I was on Twitter? Ajib system that we're in. Allah has those systems in place from before. So now the Ibn Kathir mentions that anybody who Allah has conveyed that sound of Ibrahim alayhi salam, it says that it went and penetrated into the wombs and into the souls, and thus until the Day of Judgment, anybody who has had those words conveyed to them of Ibrahim alayhi salam, subliminally, however that is, they will eventually end up going for Hajj. We ask Allah that He makes us among those who this word has come to many, many times, so that we can go there many, many times. The Prophet ﷺ said, now I don't like to mention the hellfire and the punishments. I like to encourage, but we need to have a bit of a healthy dose of both sometimes. We need a bit of bitter medicine sometimes. There's a hadith related by Bukhari and Muslim. Manhaj says that which one is it? Yes. It's related by Imam Tirmidhi, actually, this one. Ali radiallahu anhu relates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa said, Man malaka zadan wa rahila. Anybody who owns enough possession to buy a ticket and buy a package, a ground package, right, for Hajj, which cost about, as I said, £4,000 to £5,000 nowadays. Anybody who has the ability to buy that package that will take him to the house of Allah, but he does not, وَلَمْ يَحُجْ فَلَا عَلَيْهِ أَن يَمُوتَ يَهُودِيًّا أَوْ نَصْرَانِيًّا. Then it doesn't matter if he then dies as a Christian or a Jew, meaning out of the faith. What's the difference then, basically saying? Not, again, this is not a fatwa or to say somebody's a kafir, but this is just a very extreme statement to warn people that when a person has the ability but doesn't perform Hajj, then it's like, what's the difference? Like Christians and Jews, some of them would love to do Hajj, they're just not allowed to go, right? According to the authorities, they don't allow them. According to the Hanafi madhab, actually, non-Muslims are allowed to come into the haram. They are allowed, but the others, they don't agree with them, that's what they follow. They would love to go, some of them. Some of them have sneaked in. There's a couple I'll tell you about. There's a Jewish couple. The husband was Jewish, and I'm not sure the wife. Their company, a global company, they had an offer, a position in Jeddah. Right? Now, the package was quite good because not many people want to go there. Jeddah has its own climate and, certain other social issues that a non-Muslim would find it difficult to go there. Right? But it was a very good package, and they wanted to be a bit adventurous, so they took the package and they were transferred to Jeddah. In Jeddah, you're going to see a lot of Hujjaj because it's in the miqat, and thus you have to be, anybody going to Umrah or Hajj is going to have to be in Ihram. So they sort of see these guys dressed in white. MashaAllah, that scene itself is quite amazing. It's very illuminating. It's a very pure state, just two white cloths. So they used to be quite obsessed by this image and say, what is going on here? So they found out that, hey, everybody goes to Mecca, right, for the Hajj. We need to go and check this place out. Now, once they've been there for a while, they figured out that they knew that non-Muslims are not allowed. They were told non-Muslims can't get there, but they figured out by speaking to people or whatever that there's a way to get in. She puts on a hijab, covers her hair essentially, right? And they drive. You just from Jeddah, you just drive. Right? It's a 50-minute drive or something. They drive, and on the thing it says "Salam alaikum" or whatever it is that the way they say it, and they got in. They got in, and they go into the haram. And you know, those of us who've been and seen the Kaaba, especially for the first time, even if you've seen it on TV, on videos, on pictures, nothing can prepare you for the actual impact and the awesome impact it creates on you. Can you imagine? When they saw this, they're just sitting down on the side and just looking at how people are doing tawaf, because they don't know what to do, but they've just got inside to be seeing this. And they're just looking at this, and the guy looks at his wife and they cry. The guy said, "This is the real thing, man." Like that, I think those were his words. This is the real thing, like this is something going on here. And they just started crying. That's how they became Muslim. One of my teachers, they were from America. One of my teachers had gone to give a talk in this masjid. And after the bayan, the committee had said to the imam, or somebody said, "There's a sister who wants to speak, she's got some specific questions." So he took her questions afterwards, and then he asked her, "How did you come into Islam?" She was this woman. She was this woman who sneaked in there as a non-Muslim and become Muslim just by looking at the Kaaba. It's amazing. I can't even explain that to you in words. When you look at the Kaaba and the way it goes around, people are going around it. There was, you guys are lucky because those who know Urdu are lucky because Urdu is the second international language in the world. You know that, right? If you go to the whole of the Middle East, you can get by with Urdu. It's really cool. Now, in Saudi, there's lots of workers from India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Lots of them. Right? They work in Jeddah, Riyadh, whatever, elsewhere, Makkah, Medina, Munawwara, other places. And they come for Umrah. One guy, either he's from India or Pakistan, I can't remember. His wife's, I think Pakistan. His wife is in Pakistan. They got a child. He's about 7 years old or whatever the case is. The brother, he's working here away from home. He decides to go for Umrah from his, wherever he was working. He went to do Umrah and he managed to get to the Multazam. The Multazam is the place between the black stone and the door of the Kaaba. That's like the holiest of the holy place you can get to. One is kissing the black stone, but this place, the Prophet ﷺ went there, he put his chest to it, his cheek to it, and just cried and made his dua there. And that's it's a very difficult place to get to. You know, it's not easy to get there, but obviously there's times in the day and in the year where it is easier. So he got there and he made dua. His dua was, "Oh Allah, make my son a hafiz of the Quran. Make my son a hafiz of the Quran." This was quite a few years ago. He got home, back to his apartment or whatever it was. There was in those days with the answering machine. There was a beep beep on his answering machine, the normal phone answering machine, the landline. So he picked it up, it was from his wife, "Call me back," whatever, called her back. She said, "Oh, whatever, I just want to let you know that I've just gone some time ago and dropped our son off to the local hafiz to make him a hafiz." He makes a dua there, and look at the dua being accepted here, like pretty much instant. There was no plan like this. I mean, how many stories can I tell you? Like personal stories that I have of people that I've heard directly. It's amazing stuff that can go on there. I do a Hajj seminar every year. I try to. And I do it for a selfish reason. These people who come to my Hajj seminar, like you'll come to the Hajj seminar. I'm speaking to you right now, right, on this Friday. And any Friday bayan, what do you think is the percentage of uptake of people, of what they take from you? Out of 100%, do you think 100% there's 100% uptake of whatever the speaker says on Friday? No, right? What do you think is the percentage? The impact of a speech? Average. Sorry? It's about 5 to 10%, unless he's like some very special speaker, or it's Ramadan, or it's a very specific topic, or whatever. Generally, on average, it's a 5%, right? I'm just glad you guys are awake today, because this is a nice time to come and rest for a lot of people. So when I start here, I stand and I say to Allah, I got 20 minutes, which are very, very valuable 20 minutes. It's the only 20 minutes that a lot of people will have as access, exposure to their deen. Please allow me to say something useful, otherwise I'm wasting their 20 minutes and I'm going to give them a nice rest instead. I don't want you to have a rest here. I want you to listen. So, there are just so many stories about this. So I do this Hajj seminar, and at the end I say, please remember me in your du'as. Now they will remember you because they've learned a lot from you, and when they go down there, inshallah, it comes in use, so they're remembering you. And subhanAllah, they are very valuable, those du'as are for me. One year, I had some difficulty with something, and then suddenly, almost miraculously, things just started becoming easier. It's like, what's going on? Like, it was unusual. You know, like unusually something becoming easier when you know it's difficult. And the only thing I could put it down to that it was Hajj time. I didn't go there. But somebody there is probably making dua. When I went in 2001, I went with 4 other guys. I was an imam in California then. And I went with 4 other guys from our area. One of the brothers, a Moroccan brother, whose wife is Mexican, convert. Now, he was with us. And mashallah, you know, when he went back, I came to UK to visit my parents. He went direct. He went to Los Angeles. When he got to LAX airport, he tells me later that 2 of my du'as have been accepted in my Hajj. So what? One is my cholesterol medicine. I managed to either reduce it or cut it out completely. That came under control. I'm not saying that's going to happen to all of you. This is not the new medicine that if you go for Hajj, your cholesterol will get lowered. I'm not saying that. But it happened for him. Because he had that story with Allah and that worked for him. And it could work for you, but I'm not guaranteeing you that because Allah doesn't work by magic. It looks at your individual state. Everybody there has their individual story to Allah. We don't have to go through anybody, it's direct to Allah. You're there right by His house. Right? You're there right by His house. The person sitting next to you in Masjid al-Haram, he could look like whatever you may judge him to be, but he could have a better story, a better connection than you do. At the end of the day, it's up to you. Allah is vast. Allah's generosity is extensive. He gives you blank checks on those days. It says, write what you want. And that's up to you to fill that up with as much as your mind allows and what you know. So somebody could have more than the other. Somebody will have less than the other. The second dua he says got accepted is that when he arrived at LAX airport, his wife was there to pick him up. Until now, she could never wear the headscarf and cover up. He would tell her he really wanted her to do that, but she couldn't do it. It's difficult sometimes for people. It's a challenge. She came, he went for Hajj. She came to pick him up with a headscarf and hasn't taken it off since then. These are just examples I'm giving you. There are some spiritual examples. There are so many, we don't have the time right now. But this hadith is very worrying to me. That if you have the ability to go and you don't go, then and you die in the process, then what difference does it make? Basically, the hadith is mentioning. Now, some of the misconceptions here that I've heard. One guy, he was 70 years old in our masjid. He refused to go for Hajj. He said, it's all in the heart. My 5,000 better spent on the poor people, alleviating poverty. Okay, point is, you know the experience that you get there, the personal, spiritual boost and growth, you can't get anywhere else. That's where the barakah, you know, there's a hadith that is related by Imam Malik, rahimahullah. Prophet ﷺ said, Shaitan is never seen on any day more despicable, humiliated, degraded, angry and seething than on the day of Arafah. Hajj is Arafah. On the day of Arafah, Shaitan is never seen more despicable, degraded and angry than on that day because of the rahmah and the mercy he sees descending. That mercy that comes out on that day, every moment of it is so powerful that if you could be the biggest fasik, transgressor, sinner, criminal in the world, and every moment of it is so powerful that it could turn you into a friend and wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as has happened to many people. And he sees how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala تجاوز الله عن الذنوب العظام, how Allah is forgiving huge sins on that day. And the whole point of Arafah is wuquf, to stand. from Dhuhr to Maghrib, and I used to always wonder, Dhuhr to Maghrib to do dua, why so long? An hour is enough. You need several hours. The reason is Allah says, do dua, rest for a while, give your brain a rest. You can only remember so much. Then after an hour, start doing dua again, you'll think of so many other things. Take a rest again, you'll think of some more things, then you do dua again. And you'll think of other people to make dua for. What I generally do and recommend is make lists. List of du'as that you want for yourself, list of du'as you want to do for others. And my family generally give me shopping lists of the du'as they want. Not shopping list of buy me this, that and the other. Well, they do that as well. But the shopping list is, these are the du'as I want you to make for me. Because that is an opportunity for getting things accepted. I can't tell you how many things have been accepted in Hajj. How many things, personally I'm telling you. And I'm not a special person at all. It happens for everybody. Allah gives indiscriminate. That's why there's a personal benefit that Allah has placed in Hajj. Just going there and doing that. Yes, you must help the poor as well. But this is for yourself. If you're going to help everybody else but not yourself, then that's stupidity, that's foolishness. This is to help yourself. This is an obligation. There are some crazy people. One friend of mine whose father is a kind of a very liberal-minded person, he finally went for Hajj. And at the end of the Hajj, he refused to cut his hair, which is necessary. Cut your hair at least, like some. He refused. He said, no, it's all in the heart. I don't need to cut my hair. So then I said, what's the point? Why did you even go and bother there? You should have just said, it's all in the heart. Just stayed in your own local area. It's all in the heart. So you do get some ideas like that. Another idea that is not so liberal but lazy is, I'm not pious enough. I'm not pious enough, or I don't have enough money. Look, 5,000, that's gonna clean me out. I got two hadiths for you. Number one, and I believe this, believe me, I believe this, and I've seen this in action. The Prophet ﷺ said, hadith rated by Imam Tirmidhi and Nasai. Ibn Masud radiyallahu anhu relates, Rasulullah ﷺ said, تابعوا بين الحج والعمرة فإنهما ينفيان الفقر والذنوب كما ينفي الكير خبث الحديد والذهب والفضة. The Prophet ﷺ said, go to Hajj one after the other and follow up one Umrah with the other, meaning keep going. They say you should at least go every 5 years, and that's why the Saudis have this, that you can't go more than 5 years. In fact, now they allow you to go more than once in 5 years, but the second time you have to actually pay a special fee, making money out of that. But the point is, keep going, don't just do it once. Keep going, because, now listen to this, it seems totally irrational, right? It says, because it will remove and negate poverty and sins from you. You are spending 4,000 or 5,000 for a Hajj every 3-4 years, or 5 years even, and that's going to remove poverty from you. You're going Umrah, right? Maybe every 2 years or whatever, and that's going to remove poverty from you. Does that make any sense? It doesn't in the world we live in. Because the world we live in, you put money in a bank and it increases based on the savings account. That's what we call guaranteed. But we're so used to that. What we're not used to is what Allah says in the Quran. You give him 1 cent in the path of Allah, he will multiply it 70 times. That only comes through belief. And anybody who gives in the path of Allah, tell me, anybody who gives, do you feel like a poor person afterwards? Or does it just make you feel happiness? Studies have shown, in non-Muslims, just generally, spending on others, right, in general, makes you happier anyway. Money's gone, Allah will replace it. And I've seen people who make minimum wage, but are able to do Umrah every year or 2 years. Allah gives them that ability to manage their finances in a way that, because their priorities are right. They don't waste their money elsewhere. Yes, if you want holidays here, there, another, and then you try to squeeze a Umrah and you're not going to have the money. So the poverty thing, the hadith says something different. And I'm telling you, I can only say to you, I can't show you this tangibly because it's an abstract concept. And the thing about I'm not pious enough, then we will never be pious enough, if that's what we're thinking. That is the place to go to be pious. People come back changed. The Prophet ﷺ said, the accepted Hajj is the one when you come back like the day your mother gave you birth. That is the place where sins are forgiven. It's the place. A lot of people think I want to retire and go, then I will, if I go to Hajj, then I must keep a beard afterwards, I must become Haji Sahib, and all the rest of it. This is a typical idea within some of our, right? Until I don't, if I go now, I'm still a sinner. Well, go there, make tawbah. How do you know you will not change? Believe me, I've seen old people, I've had old people in our group. They suffer. Unless they're very healthy, they suffer. They have to just sit, somebody else has to go and throw the stones for them. They have to be pulled around, dragged around in a wheelchair. Man, that's not the way to do it. Go when you're young and enjoy it. And yes, it's getting bigger, more facilities, but just from the start of the Haram, from the King Abdullah complex to the Kaaba is going to take you half an hour walk if you're lucky in the future. And the hotels are going to be much further away. It's just becoming too big and colossal. It's not going to get any easier. May Allah make it easier. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept each one of us to go for Hajj. And may Allah, and you know, if it's a last minute thing, I've just seen so many adverts, so many WhatsApp messages. It looks like this year they've actually increased the ability, the quota. There's at least 2 or 3 Hajj groups I've seen, they are getting rid of some leftover packages for cheaper prices. So time to snap up a deal if you want to make that decision right now. But believe me, don't wait. Don't wait, there's no guarantee and assurance of life. That is the place to become righteous and pious. And that is the place to receive the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to go back and over again. And may Allah facilitate that and make it easy for us. And all those who are going this year, may Allah make it easy for them to go. Those who have not ever been and need to go, may Allah make it easy for them to go miraculously. May Allah make that easy. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.